Things are going well at Tulane. We have a brand new business school building opened about 10 months ago, which is pretty fantastic. We're averaging about 41,000 applicants for 1,600 freshman slots, so all that part is going well. I will say that these students, as a baby boomer, a lot of baby boomers, look down on the younger generations, and I don't at all. I think these folks are terrific, and we're very lucky to hand the ball over to them. So they're smarter than we were. They're more community-minded. Sometimes you worry about common sense. I had one student went to pick up his girlfriend at her parents' house, and the dad says, "Hey, I want my daughter back by 8:15." And my guy's like, "Whoa, mid-August, cool." So it's so we do have issues, but they. I want to talk a little bit about where we are in the markets and Louisiana's economy and the rest of it as well. Let's see. I got the There's good. Don't take any of this too seriously. Let's see. I guess business cycles. The business cycle has not been canceled. You sometimes worry about that. What I've been hearing mostly is that this time it's different. Those are the four most dangerous words in finance. The seven most dangerous words are, "Hey, we're getting the band back together." But that is and there are four cycles. If you look back like in, I guess 09, 10, that would be the one on the left, the early cycle, fiscal and monetary stimulus. Fed lowers rates, the government spends a lot of money, economic growth starts to increase. Then you get to the mid-cycle, which was probably starting in around 11 and 12. Margins start to peak. Management begins to increase their share repurchases to boost profits. And we're somewhere in this late cycle. Fiscal and monetary restrictions, employers have trouble finding available workers and wages increase. I kind of a front row to the U.S. economy. I talk to executives each week and executives for the Birkenroad Company. And that's everybody's biggest problem is finding labor at this point. And then eventually you get some sort of economic contraction, falling manufacturer, retail activity, and earnings and credit lending drop quickly. We're somewhere in the late cycle. The question is, are we 2 months away from a recession or 2 years away from a recession? And that's what we have to think about. The average, when we look at expansions, they usually go 7 to 10 years, and we're at the 10-year mark. That's a pillow I had made. They seemed like a good idea at the time. There's I got to interview the other day and he was a nice guy, really smart, is the guy who's the CEO of Tabasco. And we were talking about all these things. It was downtown, and I asked him, what are some of the oddest things people put Tabasco on? He was telling me bagels and things like that. But then he told me that he puts a drop of Tabasco in his coffee, and it brings the taste of the beans out. And so I came back. My wife's a big coffee drinker, and I told her that, and she's much smarter than me. And she looked at me and she goes, "He sells Tabasco." Really was the key to that story. So. When we've, and remember, if I got this from the Bible, I was a combination finance theology major, and I don't think that exists. And if you give a man a fish, he eats for 1 day, but you give a fish a man, he eats for like 2.5 months. So just keep that in mind. We've had six recessions in the last 50-odd years or so. This is the longest one, was the last one. It lasted 18 months. And you can see we get through them. If you've only been through one recession, the 08-09 downturn, that's not indicative of what a post-World War II recession looks like. They're much smaller, much calmer, and much shorter. One thing that has predicted all the recessions since 1972 is an inverted yield curve when short-term interest rates are higher than long-term interest rates. And we've seen that hold for about 3 or 4 days, about 5 or 6 times in the last couple of months. And so the signal might not have gone off completely, but it's certainly indicative, and I think that's a very important note. I look back all these years. I've been in this business for 40 years. I've taught at Tulane now for 33 years, which is odd because now undergraduates are coming up to me and saying, my mother had you. It's like, excuse me, what are we talking about here? And so it is. Sorry about that. I crossed that off and put it back on. That's the way they kind of and I know I'm getting old because in class the other day, I guess last year, in the fall class, I was bragging about the fact we worked very hard over the summer and we got all the paper out of the class and it's now all online. And I said to the class, yep, last year we were the Flintstones, this year we're the Jetsons. And not a single damn soul knew what I was talking about. It was like, yeah, this is, they just run out the door, you know.